This is Go-MMT Radio.
Go-MMT Radio. #Go.
Powered by Make My Trip, Go-IBBO and Redbus.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Go-MMT Radio. Mera naam hai Sonu. We are celebrating Parents Week in association with your dost on Go-MMT Radio. So get ready to experience some interesting podcast activities and workshop during this week. I'll tell you a little bit more about your dost in a while, but right now it's time for us to introduce you to our guest for today, Puroitree Majumdar, and she's here with us for the second time, right, Puroitree?
Yes.
Yes. With a name like that, it's really hard to forget. It's such a beautiful name. Puroitree is a clinical psychologist with an MPhil in clinical psychology from Institute of Mental Health and Hospital, Agra, and she's registered with the Rehabilitation Council of India as well. I will tell you more about that as the podcast progresses. Puroitree, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Very excited to be a part of this conversation today. Looking forward to talking about kids and parents. I think that's one area where all parents are super invested, always trying to be better at fulfilling that role.
Absolutely. And it's a never-ending discussion. So we will just start right away. There's so much of emphasis, Puroitree, these days on setting up a healthy routine. I don't think while we were growing up, it was part of the conversation, but why do you feel kids need healthy routines?
So I think, Sonu, there's two aspects to it. One is what it does for the kids, right? Mm-hmm. When there are routines are organically built into how human beings function, right? Even if you look at it, the sun has a specific cycle. Our body has what is called a circadian rhythm. When kids have a good sense of a routine, they feel safe. They feel like I can predict when I have to wake up, when I'm going to see my parents, when is playtime, when is time for, studying, things like that. So the more a routine is structured, the safer a child feels in the home. The other is it also helps them kind of boost their health and their well-being as well, right? So when kids have routines, they develop or they learn early on what are some of the healthy habits where it's something as small as brushing their teeth, doing some, playing games, having their fun time, washing their hands, having a bath, those basic things as well. And the earlier they learn, it definitely serves a better purpose through their life. Right. The other part of it is that the more routines are built in for kids, life becomes easier for parents as well, because then you can also follow predictability, right? You're not having to brainstorm and come up with new things each day. Makes you feel more confident as a parent as well.
Right. Now, there are some times when the routine goes off. Now, what disrupts kids' routines?
Right. So something as simple as just having holidays from school, right. Is a big disruption, because especially for school-going kids, you'd always see right after summer holidays and kids are going back to school, they're super tired, they're just cranky, they're not enjoying it, right? So any change, in fact, in routines and schedules can disrupt their daily routine, their daily cycle, so to speak. So it could also be just a shift in meal timings, travel, for example, when families are traveling together, or the addition of something new and exciting. So a child who's never, say, gone for an activity class, so maybe they're going for football classes or they're learning karate, but initially, at least for the first few days, it is a transition that they're going through. Right? So all of those little changes can disrupt their routines.
Absolutely. And when such things happen, what can parents do?
True. I think that's a great question. So a couple of things to keep in mind, right? One is to try and plan and prepare the child as much as possible for that transition as well. So even to let them know that, okay, we're planning, we're going to travel, or, you're starting a new class. How are you? What are you excited for? What are you looking forward to? And to know for yourself also that during that transition, the child might be a little bit more crankier. They'll get tired a little bit more easily. So the other aspects of their day need to stay as consistent as possible. So don't introduce too many things at the same time. The other part of it is to try try and come back to as predictable a routine as quickly as possible. So even if you are traveling, for example, it could be that when you're going on vacation, you're trying to keep, say, meal timings the same or bedtime the same, so that the child still has some sense of, sameness no matter where they are. That definitely helps with building or coming back to healthy routines as well.
Right. Now, setting up a routine, especially a bedtime routine, is very, very challenging, because I personally am going through this. I feel my daughter is extra active during the night, and I have a very set routine for myself. But then, when it comes to putting her to sleep, I really, really struggle. So what would be your tips for parents like me who are finding it really difficult to put their kids to bed in the night?
Right. I think that's something a lot of parents struggle with, first of all. So I'm sure, and like you said, that, kids somehow find this extra dose of energy right before bedtime, as you're trying to kind of put them to sleep. There's one interesting thing that kids go through at this time, right? And it's very much related to that adult concept of FOMO almost, where kids actually feel like, okay, the adults are getting to stay up, which means they're getting to have more fun, they're getting to play, they're getting to do all these things that I'm not, right? Mm-hmm. Which often makes it hard for kids to go to sleep at a particular time, especially before the adults do as well. Mm-hmm. So I think some things that kind of help with putting kids to bed, so to speak, or building that bedtime routine is to be consistent for yourself and the child as well, right? So they can see that not only are you helping them wind down, but if you are also winding down, say having a meal or getting ready to have a meal, you are packing your things up, those basic things as well, or you're setting up, asking your child to put together their school bag, and you are also packing up and planning for the next day. They get those visual cues that, okay, things are winding down, so not only me, but the adults around. Mm-hmm. The other thing is to kind of build in small little micro habits, so to speak, that help them prepare for bed. So ensuring that there's not a lot of, say, playtime or TV time and things right before bedtime. So the half an hour before bedtime is for like changing into your pajamas, brushing your teeth, maybe reading a book, listening to soft music, even something as basic as dimming the lights around the house, right? Just so that they get to that idea that, okay, it is nighttime and I have to start getting ready. That kind of starts to cue them, or for like slightly older kids, making sure that they pack their school bag for the next day or something like that. Right. So that they take that half an hour before bedtime to do slow things, not exciting, fun things that they want to keep doing for the next, hour or another half an hour to come as well.
Right. Now, Puroitree, tell me, how can we help kids follow these basic routines?
I think that's a good one, and I think one that, again, a lot of parents struggle with. For younger kids, especially those, say, under 10, visual cues really help, right? Because they don't obviously have the same memory that as an adult we would, right? And even as adults, we sometimes forget that, okay, I have to do one A and then B and then C. So even having like in the bathroom, which has like, okay, you have to brush your teeth, or to brush your teeth, you take your toothbrush and then you put toothpaste on it and then you clean your teeth. Small little images that you can easily download, and in fact you can find them online very easily. So putting them up in high visibility spaces, or if they have to go into their room and change their order in which they have to change and those kinds of things, making visual cues. For slightly older one, giving them like a checklist of things to do, say, before they have to leave for school. So ensuring that they've done all of those things or not. The other thing that we often need to kind of keep in mind is, especially for as kids grow up, right, we use this concept called chaining, right, where you basically add one step or one link to the chain as they grow older based on how old they are, right? So say for like a 2-year-old, you might start with putting their legs inside their pants while you're trying to teach them to wear clothes, right? Where they only learn how to they just have to pull their pants up. Right. In another 6 months, they might get to a point where if you lay the pants flat on the floor, they might learn how to wriggle themselves inside those pants as well.
Correct.
What skill, what habit you're trying to build, start small. Start at the most easiest path and then help them gain skills as they work through those as well.
Right. We are celebrating Parents Week in association with Your Dost on GO-MMT Radio. And Your Dost is one of India's first and largest holistic emotional wellness organizations. And their aim is to help corporates, colleges, and government organizations build resilient communities. It is an innovative online technology platform open to all users to access experts dealing with anxiety, stress, and depression, and act as emotional wellness coaches and certified experts. And one such expert is with us today, Puroitree Majumdar. Puroitree, one last question. How can parents incorporate healthy habits into routines?
Right. I think that's equally important as we kind of work with our kids. A couple of things to keep in mind, especially as parents when we are building our routines, is like you said earlier, kids learn a lot from us, right? Mm-hmm. So I often tell parents this, that, if we find it hard that when we're getting bored at home or there's nothing specific to do, our first thing to do is reach for our phones, right? Yet we expect that when our kids are getting bored, they should go and pick up a book.
Right.
And get into that habit of reading. So I think that modeling has to happen, even if it is for short spans of time. So as a parent, if I sit down and I say, I'm going to read a book for 15 minutes, my child also sees that and says, okay, mama or papa are interested in this, maybe I should also try it, right? Mm-hmm. So helping them along in doing those things. The other thing to kind of remember as adults especially is that how do you maintain that regularity for yourself, right? I think we started off kind of talking about how routines are also helpful for parents to feel predictable, right? So even if you are not able to manage everything by yourself, that is never the expectation. Asking for help, right? Making each family member responsible for different aspects really helps in ensuring that things kind of keep running, right? So even as if you are a 2-parent household, then divide up chores, divide up responsibilities, so that each parent is taking care of different aspects of childcare and household care. And it becomes easier to maintain those rhythms and routines, because there will be times, right, when one parent perhaps has more things to do at work or they have something else going on in their life. But as a unit, can we try to maintain as much of a rhythm as possible as well?
Right. True. Puroitree, thank you so much for your time. It has been a pleasure once again having you. I'm sure a lot of parents who heard us today would have felt ki kuch to ho sakta hai, we can do something about it. I think they feel definitely heard. So thank you so much for doing what you do, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
And with that, it's a wrap on today's episode of GO-MMT Radio. Until we meet next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep smiling. This is me, Sonu, signing off. Up next, we have a performance by Amandeep Singh. So over to him.
कुत्ती मोहब्बत ने अंगड़ाई ली, दिल का सौदा हुआ चांदनी रात में, ओ तेरी नजरों ने कुछ ऐसा जादू किया, लुट गए हम तो पहली मुलाकात में, ओ आँख उठी.
Celebrating Parents Week in association with Your Dost on GO-MMT Radio. So get ready to experience interesting podcasts, activities and workshops during the week. Your Dost is one of India's first and largest holistic emotional wellness organizations and has been associated with Make My Trip as our emotional wellness partner for 3 years now.
Hello everyone, this is Alia Bhatt and you're listening to GO-MMT Radio. Head, set, go.
To listen to your favorite GO-MMT Radio from anywhere, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn and Instagram. Visit the GO-MMT Radio page for daily updates and enjoy listening to your favorite radio channel.